Hey everybody, it's GoblinX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Rivals of Ixalan. Without further ado, let's get into the draft. We've got a pretty solid uncommon here with the Needletooth Raptor. It's a 4-mana 2/2, but whenever it's dealt damage, you deal 5 to an opposing creature. So basically, whenever you trade it off with something, you get to trade it off with your opponent's best creature. So pretty solid card there. It's also got some really good synergies with any of the cards that let you deal 1 damage to one of your creatures, because then you get to kill something with it and keep it around. So that's pretty nice. There's a Path of Metal here that's super narrow, but a pretty fun build around, so we could try to do that. So it does 1 damage to all non-first striking, double strike, vigilant, or haste creatures, and if you attack with 2 vigilant, first strike, double strike, or haste creatures, you turn this into like an absolute win condition. You know what? I might try to build around a Path of Metal here. If you can get this thing to flip, like it's going to keep blowing up your opponent's creatures that have attacked with that 3-mana ability on that land, or you can just keep shooting your opponent in the face for 2 every turn. Kind of a fun build around. Here's another really sweet rare. This one is Golden Guardian. I think this is just a better card than our Path of Metal because it's a lot easier to do. So with the Golden Guardian, you need to have this fight another creature you control. You have to have the Golden Guardian die to that fight, but if you do, you now have a mana sink where you spend 4 mana and tap this and create a 4/4 golem every single turn. So I remember this being pretty good in your dinosaur kind of decks where you can get to super high mana values. Very slow card, but still going to be a 4/4 defender for the first half of the game, and whenever you do flip it, does absolutely take things over. So I'm going to take a Golden Guardian here. Since this is instant speed, I guess you could also just have it fight one of your small creatures after you've declared a block with it and it's already been dealt damage. So there's some other flexibility to the card. Pack 1, pick 3, I think Resplendent Griffin's an incredible card. If you get to the City's Blessing, a flying threat that gets a +1/+1 counter every time it attacks is just ridiculous. So I'll take Resplendent Griffin here over Exultant Sky Marcher. I don't think flyers help this card at all. No, flying is not one of the good abilities. If flying was one of the good abilities for this, then it might be worth taking Sky Marcher over Griffin, because then the Sky Marcher can fit in well to a Path of Metal deck, but we might have to just drop that game plan. Pick number 4. This does not work with Menace. There's no cards on board with an ability that works with it, so we'll take the very solid Martyr of Dusk, I think, over the very solid Goblin Trailblazer, since these are both great 2-drop common creatures, but the Martyr fits in with our Resplendent Griffin and our Path of Metal, just in terms of the colors that it is. For pick number 5, Pride of Conquerors, probably okay if you've got a really wide board state, a lot of token production and stuff, and a bunch of very mediocre other cards in the pack. Buccaneer's Bravado is probably the best, but that's for pirates only. I'll take a Pride of Conquerors. Pick number 6, Deadeye Righauler is great if you can get the attacks off, but Crashing Tide's a great tempo play, and Secrets of the Golden City's pretty big card draw. Go for the Crashing Tide. Well, I don't know, it's like really close between these two. These kind of bounce spells have just played really well all around. I'll grab Righauler. If we play nothing but like 3-mana flying creatures, then that's a great curve. Pick number 7, Soul of the Rapids is a great flying finisher, and there's not a lot else in this pack. Pick number 8 is all filler. Really don't want to end up playing a River Darter, so speculate on some random green fixing. If we open up like a really good green rare or something, that'll help out. Grab another Soul of the Rapids, grab a Raptor Companion for some filler. Whole lot of nothing here. That's a pick 12 Goblin Trailblazer. Maybe start moving towards blue-red pirates, which will give us a lot of blue flying creatures, red menace creatures, to get creatures that are hard to block, And we'll have a good chunk of pirates, because there's plenty in both of those colors. So if we hit any synergistic cards that care about pirates, like Buccaneer's Bravado, this could be a good color pair. For pack 2, pick 1, we have an incredible bomb rare. Profane Procession is completely busted in half. The only way your opponent can beat this card is if they aggro you out before you can pop off with it. Otherwise, if the game goes long, this card is unbeatable. It's 3 removal spells off of this one card, and it's 5 mana instant speed exile removal, and after you've used this to remove 3 of your opponent's creatures, you get to start playing them against your opponent. This is a 6-for-1 overtime, exiling 3 threats and then creating 3 threats on your board. This is so busted that it is worth pivoting to white-black. It is completely absurd. Pack 2, pick number 2, we've got a Sadistic Sky Marcher, which has some great abilities. You do want to make sure you have a good vampire count, but vampires are all in white and black in this format, so this is a good color pair to get the Sky Marcher to cost 3 mana instead of 4. Martyr of Dusk is also great, but let's take the Sky Marcher here and start pushing into black if we can. Pick number 3. Nothing incredible. Siren Reaver's probably the strongest card by a little bit, but again, Profane Procession's so busted. It's going to take a lot to get me off of trying to play black-white here. Take a Sun Sentinel or the decent value play of Recover. I'll just grab the Sun Sentinel. Pick number 4, Moment of Craving is excellent cheap removal. Against more aggressive decks, buys us the time to get to that 5 mana we need to start popping off with Profane Procession. Pick number 5, Snubhorn Sentry is good if you can control the game long enough to ascend, then it has played like a 1 mana 3/3 eventually. But the Famished Paladin is just immediately a 2 mana 3/3 defender. And if you get a lifelinker on the board, that'll untap at every turn, like hitting your opponent with a 1/1 lifelinking vampire. I think I care about the vampire card type enough to take Famished Paladin when we have Sadistic Sky Marcher. Try to get the good creature types here. Pick number 6, Exultant Sky Marcher is a great card because it's just a solid beefy flyer in this format, while being a great creature type for us. So let's grab that Sky Marcher. Could also take the Evolving Wilds, because we could go like blue-white splash black for Procession. It's a pretty splashable card. We're definitely deep into white here. So I don't think we're splashing white. White is going to be a core color of the deck no matter what, but could go blue-white splash black instead as a possibility, because we do have 4 really good blue spells. Two that are really good. The Resplendent Griffin and the Deadeye Righolor I think are just great in general. Soul of the Rapids, a little more narrow, being a 5 mana card, being a finisher like that. I don't know, maybe we can find a bunch of Sailor of Means out of blue. Those are the 3 mana 1/4 that create a treasure token. That would really help with our mana to just play all 3 of these colors. You know, I don't hate the idea of Traveler's Amulet for random fixing. It's not competing with too much there. There was a Majestic Heliopterus, a 4 mana 2/2 flyer that sends something else into the sky every time it attacks, but it's kind of expensive. 4 mana 2/2 flyer, and a lot of our best threats already have flying anyway. Pick number 8, nothing much. Suppose Voracious Vampire is a good card type. Divine Verdict's okay removal. It's a lot of mana and it's narrow though. Let's take the Vampire. Pick 9, Crashing Tide is just a great spell in general. So that drags us a little closer to blue-white splash black again. Let's Recover out of black, Secrets of the Golden City out of blue. Recover's a lot easier to cast if we're splashing a 3rd color, because double blue is going to be hard to hit even if we are blue-white splash black. Yeah, I'll take the recover. I don't know if either of these is going to make the cut in the end. Recover feels more likely too, though. Because again, even if I'm blue-white, we're playing white as our primary color, blue as our secondary, and we're fitting at least one swamp in here for the splash. It's going to be a little hard to hit double blue. Bunch of nonsense to wrap this pack up. And see what we get to open up in pack 3. Alright, pack 3, pick 1. Each player chooses any number of creatures they control with total power 4 or less, then sacrifices the rest. Feels a little too narrow as a board wipe. Got a decent unblockable blue threat. We've got another Crashing Tide. We've got the Sky Marcher out of white and a Moment of Craving in black. Well, we are more locked into white than anything else. I'm going to take another Sky Marcher here. Pack 3, pick 2. Grab another Resplendent Griffin here. Yeah, there's also Impale out of black. Dang. I'm going to take another Resplendent Griffin, and I think I'm going to lock in on blue-white, splash the black. Flash just the Procession and a Moment of Craving. Off of a couple Swamps and a Traveler's Amulet, I think. Pack 3, pick 3. Evolving Wilds helps the splash as well, but Deadeye Rig Hauler is a great card. How does our creature curve look without the Rig Hauler? Not terrible. Certainly not great, but not terrible. I think I can skip. I can pass up on it for the Evolving Wilds. I don't think this will come back. Although this is a pretty strong pack. Like, I could see this, and this getting taken over. That's like 6 cards, though. Somebody's going to take this before it comes back. I'm going to grab the Evolving Wilds. Alright, pack 3, pick 4. Sailor of Means is another incredible way to get that black source in here for the Profane Procession. The Moment of Craving. I guess the problem with Profane Procession is it needs a black source to get cast and to use its ability. So a one-time black source like a treasure token isn't the most helpful for it. We do already have 4 3-mana cards. I guess I can go Rig Hauler over Sailor of Means. Although getting a second Rig Hauler means I think the Sailor of Means would have been better. Legion Conquistador would be fine here as well, but I think Deadeye Rig Hauler is just great. Pack 3, pick 6. Squire's Devotion is excellent. Throwing this onto any flying creature does swing a game very far in your favor. It's super hard to outrace that. And it also kind of counts as a creature, which is nice. Alright, here's another Vampire. Oh wait, no, we're not playing black at the core anymore. Never mind. Take a Divine Verdict or a Moment of Triumph. I'll take Moment of Triumph. I think we have got a lot of bounce that we'll use for the most part. To slow things down long enough to like draw into a procession or something if we need to actually fully kill anything. 4 drops here. Sure, I'll grab a Raptor Companion. And here, I'm just going to hold down the Alt key and rare draft for Vault Progress. Okay. Third Soul of the Rapids. We do have one Squire's Devotion now, which is really good on a hexproof threat. Yeah, I like that better than just getting another 2-drop. I think I've got a lot of those. Guess I'll take a Divine Verdict this time. I might even just end up cutting it. Might cut this Golden Guardian as well, because we didn't end up with any big dinos to really go with it. Ooh, pick 12 Direfleet Neckbreaker? Criminal. Super sad for those hyper aggro pirate decks. No one's going for Rakdos Pirates. Okay, so Traveler's Amulet is basically another land, so we're kind of on 18 lands right now. So we just cut 2 cards in a land, probably. Although we've got a lot of 5-mana stuff to do, because Profane Procession is also it's 5 mana for 3 turns, so it's very expensive. Yeah, 17 lands plus Amulet is still probably fine. I don't think we look like a great Golden Guardian deck anymore. We could still just use it as a 4/4 defender on the ground while we beat down in the sky, I guess. I don't think that's particularly exciting, though. Alright, 3 cuts then. 18 creatures. 1 or 2 creatures and 1 or 2 non-creature spells to cut. Don't love the Raptor Companions either. Okay, let's go Golden Guardian Pterodon, because I've got Triple Soul at 5 mana. And we'll go Sworn Guardian as well. Let's just go aggro creature curve here and keep the Pride to buff the board up. Could see dropping the Divine Verdict still. Maybe putting another creature back in, like the Pterodon. Or the Golden Guardian. I don't think any of these creatures are great, though. Yeah. No, I think this is a fine place to be. I think we will... Well, I don't need double blue till 5 mana, so let's cut a blue source and add a white source, but then I will call it a deck here. Alright, here's a look at our finished deck list for today. We are a blue-white flyers deck at the core, mainly using all these 3 mana flyers to chip in for a bunch of damage throughout the game, and then these 5 mana Soul of the Rapids to find the last few points of damage, as they are an inevitable threat. Being hexproof makes it so they're incredibly unlikely to get cleared out by any kind of removal. So chipping in with all this damage, along with a great curve of tons of 2-drop creatures, as well as some Deadeye Rig Haulers to bounce our opponent's creatures, while still amassing a little bit more of an army on our own board, so we can get in for damage and stop some blockers there. We've got all of the basics here. We've got a little bit of removal, and a little bit of combat trick kind of stuff with Moment of Triumph. Then we've got a couple really good things going for us. Squire's Devotion is an incredible aura to put onto any flyer, and Profane Procession off the splash can be a complete game ender. It's going to take over any game that goes long, completely win us the game, because we're exiling 3 of our opponent's threats and using them against our opponent from that point on. Really, really disgusting card, so pretty awesome deck overall. For the most part, we're just hoping that we hit decent mana whenever we're hitting our splash cards. As long as we can do that, I think we should have a pretty good time, so we'll see how it all plays out for us as we head into the gameplay. Here we are with an excellent start to game 1. We are on the draw, which is actually advantageous with Procession in hand, because we do need to make it to 5 mana for it. And we've got plenty of creatures to trade off in the early game to stay alive. Again, as long as this thing resolves and we've got the 5 mana up for it, it should completely win us the game. So we've got our plan all set up here. Our opponent's got a nice aggressive start. Let's just drop Sun Sentinel here and trade it off. Drop a Raptor Companion, trade it off. Yep. Let's trade off with the creature that doesn't spit out a token first. And an Everdawn Champion. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to that. Well, I'm happy to draw the Moment of Craving here, so I can clear that out, gain some life, and not have to deal with that. So yeah, let's grab another white source, I believe, off of this Traveler's Amulet. And then let's Moment of Craving this champion. And then I can just drop a 2/3 to block the 2/1 next turn, since we've got our second white source from our amulet. Okay. That's an interesting draw. I could set up to get to Profane Procession sooner. Like, I can play the Procession, play the tap land, and then I could exile something next turn guaranteed. think it's still worth it to just play the 2-3 for now. Oops, I should have... Oh wait, no, I shouldn't have. Never mind. Never mind, I totally forgot. I do need to play an untapped white source to get the Sky Marcher out there. It's kind of hard to justify discarding this Evolving Wilds. But the Griffin's so good too. You know what? I'm going to discard the Evolving Wilds because it's not like it even gets us to the 5th for Procession immediately. Have to wait another turn to untap with that source. So either way, we're waiting on Procession. Yeah, I mean, let's just play it. Alright, I think I played this one out super wrong. Not super wrong, but actually, come to think of it, because I have to spend the 3 mana to play the Procession in the first place, it doesn't matter that my 5th land hits the board tapped, because the 5th land isn't relevant until next turn anyway. So if I miss 5th land here, yeah, if we just kept Evolving Wilds, we would be popping off with Procession now. So I should have just kept the Evolving Wilds. Just play our best blockers, because as long as we survive, Procession will win us the game. Alright, Killer Splendent Griffin, you go right ahead. Ooh. That is super sick. Let's do that. They have 8 permanents. They need 2 more for the Aspirant to jump into the sky, and if it doesn't, then our 1/1 lifelinker holds everybody off, and there we go. 5th mana, and we're super golden. I don't even really want to exile just a 2-drop, just a 2/1 creature anyway, so I'll just play a Martyr of Dusk for another blocker on the ground. Ooh, Squire's Devotion for their flyer is really good. Now I will Procession that. But I will do so happily at this point. This instant speed as well. That is so good. Dusk Legion Zealot. They draw a card. Majestic Heliopterus. Well, there's our next target. But they're just going to concede. They have read through the Profane Procession and they are over it. So I played that one super loosely, but luckily Profane Procession is so strong it doesn't matter. The really big punt was not holding on to Evolving Wilds. We could have started Procession. Could have gotten Procession going a lot quicker there. I guess it wasn't like the biggest punt in the universe, because even once we had the mana to use Procession, like we didn't want to just clear out 2/1s anyway. So it actually might have played better that I did keep the Griffin in hand to have another creature. And yeah, since I ended up waiting on Procession till a turn or two after I had the 5th land, even now, I would have just had the 5th land for Procession sooner and still not used it for a turn or two from then. So I don't know, still was definitely safer to just guarantee the 5th mana for the Procession. That was the really big play there. That might not have been right, but overall, card's just busted. It's gonna find us the victory, and we are 1-0 heading into game 2. Here we are for game number 2. 3 4-drops and a 5-drop. Our 3 mana aura with no creatures to put it on. I've got to mulligan that. This is just as awkward. 2 combat tricks with no creatures in the hand. At least it has all 3 colors and a Traveler's Amulet. I don't think I mulled a 5, but I'm certainly not happy here. Get rid of the Pride of Conquerors. I'm pretty unlikely to get a super wide board state for that kind of combat trick. Could also have just ditched a land since it's basically a 4-lander. Okay, I've got double white. We just get double blue in case we hit a soul. Now I've got double black as well. Just wait till I hit 10 mana and I draw Profane Procession. It's going to be insane. That moment when you put a card on the bottom of your deck because it's useless, and then you shuffle your library and it's on top of your deck. Oh boy. Alright. Crashing Tide, what do you get? Alright, that's a good one. We have drawn our Soul of the Rapids, and now we have a threat. We're under no pressure, they just replay the Sky Marcher. This is a lot of mana that I'm not interested in. I mean, it could be relevant. The only thing that would make it relevant is if we make it all the way to 10 mana and we have Profane Procession, because then I can double activate in one turn. Mono white vampires here. They do the Forerunner of the Legion to pick up Bishop of Binding, which doesn't do anything, as long as all I have is a hexproof card. So Soul of the Rapids is just kind of doing its thing for now. Aha! Pride of Conquerors does do something! Woo! Okay, now we need to stop flooding. Uh-oh. We are never beating a Squire's Devotion with our current hand. Especially on a Forerunner that gets buffed every time they play a vampire. Yeah, that doesn't help much either. I mean, they can't exile it with the Bishop, so if they have no other vampires in hand, then I can trade a single soul into the Forerunner. But if they play a single vampire that's attacking as a 4/4 and I lose both the souls to it. So I think I have to attack here. Because if they play one vampire, there's no universe in which it's right to double block that thing. And they have just a land in hand and nothing. Oh. Whenever that's dealt damage, it exiles one of our creatures till it dies. Oh my god, this deck is explosive from our opponent. Well, they didn't play vampire, so I clear out the lifelinker. Hey, there's a Divine Verdict. Yeah, as far behind as we are, all that it takes to take the lead is to draw into a Profane Procession, because that card, again, is a 6-for-1. So, who knows here? Might still be in this. Alright, Dusk Legion Zealot, nice little 2-for-1 from our opponent. Cast a Sky Marcher, they just exile it with Bishop. And then one of their creatures gets +2/+2 every turn. Yeah, I don't think I can really cast another creature until I have removal for the Bishop. Like until I draw a Moment of Craving or something. And I think I have to keep attacking. I don't think I can put Soul of the Rapids at risk of dying to a combat trick. Well, it recovers very good on a Mythic Bomb Dino. Little 3/3 blocker here. It's fine. Guess they could exile that with the Bishop and give +3/+3 every turn. Yeah, I guess at this point, like if they use Bishop of Binding on either of these creatures, it's good for them, so I might as well just play both creatures so I have something left behind after they Bishop of Binding. So we do stop all their damage for one turn here. Got 8 mana. That's not enough to play Bishop of Binding and Trapjaw Tyrant. It is enough to play Dusk Legion Zealot and either of those. Alright, Trapjaw Tyrant is the play. Find a Martyr of Dusk. Well, there you go. There's another random blocker. Can't exactly chump block a Trapjaw Tyrant, though, or it's gonna exile my whole board. Not literally, but not gonna be good. Impale the Sky Marcher, still have the mana up for the Bishop of Binding. Which exiles the Famished Paladin. It's a moderately bold attack. 5, 6, 7, 8. Guess it is threatening to kill me in 2 swings, but now I can attack back into the Bishop. That's nowhere near threatening lethal, though. Yeah, I guess I probably have to trade here. And then get a lifelinker to jump with next turn. Raptor Companion, that's not going to get us there. Ooh, Legion Lieutenant buff most of their board. And Voracious Vampire for the Menace. I think that's just dead. That exact combination of cards kills us. Because if I could like chump here and block here, we'd be fine. We'd go to 1, but I can't do that because they hit Menace and buff their entire board. So I do this. I take exact lethal. I take 9 damage at 9 life thanks to the 1 lifelink there. I mean, I guess I could stop 7 damage this way. Take 8. I go to literal 1. And then I think it doesn't matter what I draw. Even if I hit Profane Procession now, it's way too late. This does go to 1, though. Alright, well, super dead. 1-1 heading into game 3. Not too much to say on that one. We just had a really awkward start. Maybe I should have mulled the 5, I guess, but it was going to be a bad start regardless. Even a great 5-card hand is down in card advantage a bit too much, I think, to get anywhere that game. Here we are now for game number 3 with a super solid opening hand. Obviously, if we don't find a black source, that'll be rough, but we've got 4 in the deck with Evolving Wilds, Amulet, and 2 Swamps. If we do get there, then the hand's going to be great. I think because we know we have the Procession in hand, we are going to be trading very aggressively here, which it looks like we were going to be stuck doing regardless with our opponent on the play with a 1-mana 2/1 into a 2-mana 2/2. Drop this Martyr of Dusk, can trade into 2 of their creatures, where it trades into Dinosaur Hunter and the 1/1 body trades into the Scoundrel. Dead Man's Chest, what? When an enchanted creature dies, exile cards equal to its power from the top of its owner's library. You may cast spells from among them as long as they remain exiled. Mana of any type. So it's 2. They draw 2 out of our deck. But if they hit any lands, then it's just to draw 1 out of our deck? Okay. Exile the cards, not the creature, right? Yeah, so this will still get its death trigger, and the 1/1 still trades into the Scoundrel. Okay, weird stuff. No shot, they hit Squire's Devotion, Soul of the Rapids? I mean, we've already drawn our Profane Procession, so I don't know if I could have named a more disgusting couple cards to hit. The Squire's Devotion really being the nightmare, because they already have enough mana for that. What a hit. Not only that, that means we didn't draw it. Brutal. Oh lord, here comes a sea red. +2/+1 first strike, but they have to attack with a creature every turn now. Uh-oh. We are not finding a white source or a black source, which is really rough as well. I'm already down to 12, and now this thing's going to be a life-linking first striker. This game is looking unwinnable without the black source. That is our only hope at this point. What an annoying way to lose to. Lose to our own Squire's Devotion to make it impossible to race. Firebrand's cute. 1-for-1 trade into companion. Or not. I guess just not yet. They want to make sure I have the mana up for my Pride of Conquerors before they do that. And I appreciate that, I guess. I guess since I hit the second white source for Sky Marcher, I can't just hold up Pride. I don't know, I guess I can. Sky Marcher doesn't really do anything here either. So we have like 6 outs here. We've got our bounce spell that would also be really good. So our bounce spell, our divine smite, and our 4 black sources are all outs. But now I just died of my own soul, the Rapids. No, Sky Marcher trades for it if they don't have more auras. I forgot about Deadeye Rig Hauler. That is another bounce spell for the Grasping Scoundrel. That works too. Just trade into a 1-1 here. If I Pride of Conquerors in response, I trade into Firebrand instead, but I lose Companion and Pride to trade into Firebrand. Alright. So I guess my list of outs was like 10 outs, because I think I have like 3 Rig Haulers and a Crashing Tide. I totally forgot about the Rig Haulers. But that is incredibly helpful. Now Sky Marcher to trade with Soul of the Rapids, and we might be stable enough to wait for that black source. Guess I could have saved this to have our Sky Marcher be able to eat the Soul of the Rapids without dying. Uh-oh. A Menacer that can get bigger if they have a non-land on top of their deck. They do have to discard every time they explore though, so it can't be incredible. Okay, I don't have the mana to do anything but Sky Marcher. If I had one more, then I could Rig Hauler and Sky Marcher, but I've gotta get the trade-off for the Soul of the Rapids here. Alright, discard their 2-1, draw a Swamp. Discard the Swamp, draw a Mountain. I mean, they're getting through their land clump. That is for sure. Discard the Firebrand. There's a sea red on top of their deck that they can put onto the Soul of the Rapids. They could put it on the Tomb Robber as well, but if they put it on the Tomb Robber, I bounce it, so they probably just put it on my own Soul of the Rapids, and here I am losing the game to my own cards again. Sea Red makes that a 5 power first striker, so Moment of Triumph is not even going to be enough to beat it. This really sucks. Guess I can Rig Hauler back the Tomb Robber. If I Rig Hauler back the Tomb Robber, then there's no chance they accidentally Sea Red the wrong creature. If I don't Rig Hauler the Tomb Robber, then they might be like, ooh, First Strike Menace threat would be incredible here. And then that's the only way we have a chance. So I think I just pass and cross my fingers that they don't just eat me up with my own hexproofer. This is so crazy. Because, like, I think the only cards, the cards that mattered the most for our opponent by so much were my cards. I mean, the Sea Red did matter a lot, but the Squire's Devotion and the Soul of the Rapids were just such incredible hits. God dang it. Yeah, that's just disgusting. I can just chump forever is all I can do because it's got hexproof. Procession doesn't do anything about it. They just had one of the, I think, the literal best Dead Man's Chest I've ever seen. 1 and 2 it is, going into game 4. Here we are on the play for game number 4. We got Raptor Companion into Sky Marcher to get some damage in early. Traveler's Amulet from our opponent. I'm gonna Martyr of Dusk into Sky Marcher. I think it's relatively likely they can have 2-drop creatures. Yeah, that would trade very favorably into the Raptor Companion. Please stop drawing Raptor Companions. They are the most filler card in our deck, and they're super bad against Dusk Legion Zealot. Okay, they're not that bad against Hardy Veteran. Alright, so just green-black from our opponent. Alright, we didn't draw a Raptor Companion this turn. We got an Exultant Sky Marcher. There's only 2 Raptor Companions in the deck anyway, so it was impossible to keep drawing Raptor Companions. Ooh, Recover on a Dusk Legion Zealot is really good value. They're going to be way ahead in card advantage, so we just got to get way ahead in damage real quick and try to outrace them. Which is looking fine, especially if we can make it to the 5 mana for the Soul of the Rapids. Then we'll really just get there in the sky. Like, if they don't have removal here and they just recast a Zealot, they're down to 12. They're taking 6 in the sky next turn. That's a 2-turn clock from here on out. Oh my god, not like this. I'm gonna die to my own bomb again? I'm about to die to my own cards again. 2 games in a row. We might be able to outrace them still. This is an insane amount of flying damage. So now they have to tap out to Procession the Griffin, then they go to 1 life when I hit them with both the Sky Marchers, and if I hit a blue source, they're just gonna die to this Soul of the Rapids. We might just outrace their Procession here. Oh my god, we're gonna do it. Oh wait, we just attack all and we already did. My life flashed before my eyes. I thought it was about to be the 3rd of my own cards killing me here. This time it wasn't literally my own card. They didn't steal the Profane Procession out of my deck, but still, that's like a key card of our deck. Oh, feels good to outrace it. Kind of the opposite of the last game here. We beat our own bomb rare. Get out of here. All flyers all day, and we are 2-2 heading into game 5. Here we are on the play for game number 5, where we really need a blue or a black source, but we hit either other color in the hands pretty great. This is a greedy keep, but I'm a greedy man. First draw step is the island, and now the hand is incredible. Any land period, we're going to curve up till turn 4 with incredible spells, and even if we don't, we've got a combat trick to play on turn 4, so we're still doing something. Alright, mono white vampires over there. We did hit that 4th land, so now I can Rig Hauler back the Paladin, I guess? Rig Hauler back something, tax their mana, make them recast it later. Alright, recast the Paladin. Divine Verdict, interesting. So we play one of these based on what happens here. I'm at 7 permanents. I think I'm far enough away. Yeah, I'm far enough away from Ascended for the Resplendent Griffin that I'm not gonna play too incredibly defensively with my other cards. But in theory, if they like double blocked there, I had no way to save Deadeye Rig Hauler. But I could kill both their creatures while my Rig Hauler dies. Sadistic Sky Marcher. Okay. This leaves me with the same number of permanents if it dies. I think I'd rather just crack back with it. Oh wait, no I can't. Yeah, because this thing has vigilance as long as they have a lifelinker on board. Forgot about that. That is obnoxious. Send these two in. Well, they do want that trade. 7 permanents here. I think I just let it happen then. Save the Divine Verdicts, because I've got a Raptor Companion to deal with the Paladin. So, like, on board, we have the better board state. We've got just about as many cards in hand. I'm gonna lose my actual mind if this Dead Man's Chest works well again. Every time I've ever played with or against this card in the past, it's always been just awful. But I guess, I don't know. It's been long enough since Rivals of Ixalan came out. Maybe that was just my baby draft ideas. Maybe this card's actually good. It is a lot of potential card draw. I do feel like I kind of have to play as if it's pacifism based on what happened last time. Although last time I don't think I could have afforded to not go for the trade because we were playing the long game against a really aggressive start. Oh my god, they have Forerunner of the Legion into Champion of Dusk for massive card draw. It's pretty nasty. Do they have the next black source yet? No, but they've got Recover to have even more vampires on the board. Don't really need a Divine Verdict up right now. You know, at least that thing shoots them in the face. They go down to 10 here. Ooh. Rig Hauler is actually pretty sweet here. This is probably a really dumb idea, but it's kind of hilarious. I'm gonna bounce their card draw thing. So if they want to recast it, they have to shoot themselves down to like 3 and die in one hit of Soul of the Rapids. Probably not the right play, but it's really funny to me, so I'm gonna do it. This just gives them that opportunity if they have a Squire's Devotion or something to gain a bunch of life. It just gives them another potential draw for. So we should really have just bounced anybody else just in case of some lifelink nonsense here. Alright, Luminous Bonds, that is not lifelink nonsense. Ooh! Hold the Phone, that's actually a really good Pride of Conquerors. It's not quite lethal depending on how they block. I'm still gonna go for it though. If they let anybody through, it is lethal. Okay, they didn't let anybody through. I still wipe their whole board without losing anybody, and they go to 2. Okay, no, I do lose 1 creature, but still really good. Look at that. Gross. Legion's Lieutenant. Exultant Sky Marcher. Voracious Vampire, gain 3. No gain 3, just hold up on blocks. Ooh, Rig Hauler. They are at 2 life. So whatever I do here, I kind of have to just Divine Verdict, so I'm just gonna Divine Verdict the Sky Marcher. Ew, wow. Down to 2 cards in hand and they top deck the Mind Rot discard 2. And it's discard 2 and they gain 2, so it gives them another draw step. See if that draw step finds more life gain. Nope. So they gain 2 and die. As long as I don't die. I actually don't want to kill a vampire. Actually, no, I can kill 1 vampire and it's fine, so we do this. If they cast their card in hand, they die. Cool. Alright, sketchy game. But we do get another victory here, and we are now 3-2 for at least an even average run here. We'll see if we can't get at least 1 more win. Maybe break even on gems. Here we are for game 6, perfect mana on the play. Been majorly unimpressed by these Raptor Companions. I don't think I want to draft them at all anymore. There's just a lot of great ways to spit out 1/1 Vampire tokens and 1/1 Merfolk tokens and stuff. So every time I see one in my opening hand, I'm like, ew. I'm like, ooh, a piece of garbage. The 2 mana 1/1s that draw a card when they hit the board are also just really good against them. I just do not think 3/1 bodies line up well in this format. Speaking of cards that are really good against them, that's an excellent 2-for-1 Silvergill Adept, and they revealed another 2-for-1, the Riverwise Augur. Gross. Yeah, this is an easy trade for our opponent. They got to play their spell and draw a card and kill our creature, whereas all we did was play our creature, so they're up a card there. But I can't really... Like, I'm not going to be happy just spending removal on that. And I'm really not going to be happy bouncing it back to their hand and letting them recast it and draw another card. Speaking of bouncing back to hand, this Sky Marcher might be coming back. Nope. Kite Sail Corsair is the play. Let's Moment of Craving that so I can Crashing Tide a higher mana value creature, and I can play Evolving Wilds for a blue source. For now. So that I have all the mana I need for Soul of the Rapids untapped next turn. So we are on Moment of Craving this turn, but I'll wait till after combat in case they play something better. Deadeye Rig Hauler. Yeah, that would be the one reason to not wait till combat, is if they had a raid pirate like that. I'm not going to do much blocking this game. I just have 2 flyers here, so I do actually think a 3/2 body is better than a 2/1 flyer. Next turn I can play Sky Marcher plus Crashing Tide. And we just start hitting for 5 damage a turn. Try to put them on that clock. They're on a 4-turn clock here. Soul the Rapids hits them down to 15, and then I hit them for 5 a turn from then on. This Riverwise Augur does dig 3 cards deep, though, so it's probably finding removal for the Sky Marcher. Curious Obsession. Ooh, Crashing Tide's gonna be good. Another black source, so if I top deck Profane Procession, I can play it and use it all in one turn. I guess I need 8 mana to do that, 3 to cast, and 5 to activate. But I'm at 7 mana already, so probably by the time I find the Procession, if I find the Procession, we'll get cast and activated immediately. Alright, I think we're winning the race here because the Martyr of Dusk and or the Raptor's Companion keep the Riverwise Augur off of us. We hit for 3 a turn, they hit for 2 a turn. Our opponent has a lot more card advantage than us. They've done a lot of drawing cards. So that is the issue. So they still have plenty of gas here, plenty of stuff to cast. Rig Hauler back a 2-drop, I guess? Sure. Yeah, the Rig Haulers don't really matter. Martyr of Dusk does a tiny bit, but not a ton. Sky Marcher puts them at a 2-turn clock again. Great draw. They're down to 3 cards, one of which was their top deck this turn. Seekers of the Golden City, never mind. Draw 3, big stuff. Send in the Rig Hauler, trade with the Martyr. Now they Rig Hauler back our Sky Marcher. So they are not on a 2-turn clock. Wow, we are drawing just straight gas, just all action here. These draws are unreasonably good. Again, our opponent's drawn a lot more cards than us, so it stands to reason they'd have the interaction here. I think I need to take this 2-for-1 trade into the Corsair here. They do have the Rig Hauler to slow down the Griffins. They don't die this turn. No flyers, though. No. What is going on? Oh my lord, the arena gods have mercy on my opponent. This is not fair and balanced match. Now we have 3 different flyers that would all attack for 3 damage apiece. And here's another draw 3 from our opponent. There's Curious Obsession. It's another piece of card draw. They have so many Curious Obsessions, too. It's pretty wild. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's exact lethal if they have the +2/+2 to everybody. Are they a triple Curious Obsession deck? Yeah, they are. Wow. I'm just going to block like this. Oh yeah, because I am gaining 1 from this, so even if they had the +2/+2 to everybody, that wouldn't be lethal here. And if I do any blocks with the Griffins, then it makes it so flyer plus removal spell saves them. But this way they'd need to be able to play 2 flyers, and and a removal spell, or a flyer and 2 removal spells, and they just can't. Well, they drew 9 more cards than us? Good lord. Not a lot to say about that game. We just got wildly, wildly lucky. That was insanity. Opponent is just digging for dear life, going way, way through their deck, and we're still just drawing perfect cards every turn. Our opponent's over there, like, with all these algorithms and machines and stuff, just like, I gotta do it. We can get there. We can get there. And here I am just with caveman brain, just like, cast what I draw. I hit what I hit. All right, well. All right, well, some incredible luck is going to get us to a 4th win where we are breaking even on value pretty much no matter what, but we'll see how far we can take it as we head into game number 7. Here we are on the play for game 7. Pretty big fan of the hand. This is just going to be a Moat Piranhas, 2 mana, 3/3 defender. But that'll help get the flyers in. Buy me the time to jam in with Resplendent Griffin a lot. Playing against a green-red deck. Probably some dinosaurs in there. Underherd Migration is the turn 2 play to ramp up. Grab a white source, so they are all 3 dinosaur colors. I am tempted to poke them for 3, but I'm gonna wait. I know whether or not I'm drawing in any life gain. Untap this paladin. I think I have to just treat it as a defender until I have life gain in my hand. Alright, Cherished Hatchling is the play alongside a Hardy Veteran. Now I can Rig Hauler one of these cards back up. 6 permanents on the board. Rig Hauler is my 7th permanence. Cool. I don't really think it matters, but I'll choose the Hatchling. Because if that dies, then they get to instant speed, play a dinosaur, and have it fight something? Yeah, it's pretty weird. So we don't ever want to kill the Hatchling, basically. Or else they might get to play a dinosaur and eat our Griffin out of the sky. Raging Regisar, that is a great one. Aw, Soul of the Rapids, no double blue yet. It's our 8th permanent. 8th permanent it is, so we've got the Divine Verdict to clear out the Regisar. That's all that we have planned right now. If we hit an island, that puts us to City's Blessing. Island is our 9th permanent, and then we cast the Soul of the Rapids pre-combat as our 10th permanent, so that we get the +1/+1 counter onto the Griffin. This Divine Verdict has actually been pretty okay. Well, 9th permanent. And we are never killing the Cherished Hatchling. Just puts our Griffin at too much risk. So that's just a 2/1 unblockable, as far as I'm concerned. Bombard! Aww. Yeah. That'll do it. Well, I mean, here's a new 9th permanent towards Pride of Conquerors, I guess. They haven't been hitting us right now, so I guess we have time to find the Soul of the Rapids blue source. Bard my Paladin. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm 1 permanent away from giving this +2/+2 and saving it. Yikes. Man, things have just been lining up just one number off, because we were also one off from +1/+1 counter on the Griffin, hitting for one more damage this game. Stuff like that. Jungle-born Pioneer, nice wide board state. Oh my god, that is not good. I don't need 6 white sources. I need 2 blue sources. That's it. Back to 9 permanents again. They keep killing a creature, so that playing a land just puts me back at 9. Oh, at this point I'm trading Pride of Conquerors into a 2/4, I guess. Down to 9. There's that 2-for-1 dino, 2 3/3s with trample. Sky Marcher seems too small at this point, facing this much stuff, this many threats. And just more removal. I think that's dead on board. The most damage I can stop is 2, because their creatures with more than 2 power are trample. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's well over lethal. Alright. Just flood it out a little bit, hit a little bit awkward mana. Not really anything we could do there. We are going to be 4-3 to wrap up this draft, which I think is a reasonable record for this deck. Obviously would always love to go a bit higher and be in the money. Just an endless chain of drafts, but breaking even is perfectly reasonable. And yeah, our biggest issues here were mana issues because of the splashing going around, but that's going to happen in any deck where you're splashing. I think the splash was reasonable. Double black, Evolving Wilds, and Traveler's Amulet. No, I think the mana base is about as good as it was going to get for going for the Profane Procession Splash, and I think it was absolutely correct to go for the Procession Splash because of how powerful that card was. But we did lose a game with a Procession in hand and no black source, and we lost a game due to the awkward mana base, where we had like a black source but not our second blue, so we couldn't cast a Soul of the Rapids that was stuck in our hand. So our mana issues, our splash itself did cost us some tempo, if not some games. So there's that to keep in mind. But every time we cast Profane Procession, it was completely busted, which is to be expected. Biggest underperformer overall easily goes to Raptor Companion. We were just running into a lot of the 1/1s that draw a card and lose a life. There's also 1/1 life-linking vampire tokens, 1/1 hexproof merfolk tokens, a lot of little stuff like that where these cards were just miserably bad, and we would easily rather have just 2/2s with vigilance. Much rather have Martyrs of Dusk and stuff, so this was the worst card by a lot. I also don't think Pride of Conquerors was super good in here because we didn't have a wide board state that often, so it was often just 2 mana for +1/+1 to somebody. So that wasn't super good. But everything else in the deck, I think, did its job, did solid work when it showed up. Biggest overperformer, probably Divine Verdict, because I usually avoid running this when I can as more expensive, slow removal. But I was a pretty big fan of it every time I drew it. It actually played pretty fine today. So we'll give that the biggest overperformer. Like, the best cards in the deck were definitely like Resplendent Griffin, Squire's Devotion, Soul of the Rapids, and Exultant Sky Marcher. The Rig Haulers were great as well, but like these are all cards that I actively knew were great when I took them and said were great going into the deck. Whereas the Divine Verdict, I was like, this is super filler, super mediocre, but it actually helped quite a bit. And Raptor Companion I thought was good filler. Turns out it's very bad filler, at least with how things matched up today. So that's about all I got to say about this one. 4-3 seems like a super reasonable, pretty average run for it. Could expect this to go anywhere. 3-3 to 6-3 probably. I think the mana issues would keep it from a 7 win. I don't think it's quite that power level or quite that consistent of a mana base to get there. but I also think it could have done worse than it did. We got pretty lucky in a couple of those wins, so we'll take it. 1,400 gems and 3 packs are today's prizes, but that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video and you're interested in seeing more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.